Okay, listen, guys. This is what this podcast is all about. All right. We've always known that sports plays a big part in activism.
Yes.
So I love our conversation, our topic with dealing with racism and just everything that we have to go through in sports. And let's continue. Troy, you were talking about how you have to deal with racism. Who have you admired, let's say, in sports in general? It doesn't have to be tennis. And that you've learned a lot from that had dealt with racism in
You really, that's a beautiful question. The Express. Shout out to the movie The Express. I'm quite sure we all saw that. The great running back, Ernie what? Does anybody know his last name? Ernie, was it Ernie? And he played, he was right after Jim Brown. He died, unfortunately. But the movie Express, what this brother had to endure, in football. But he could physically go out there, the name calling, the psychological abuse. Unlike, same thing with the great Jackie Robinson. He couldn't lay hands on anybody.
Shout out to Ernie Davis.
Yeah, the great Ernie Davis. Those guys, we all thrive to be better in spite of all our accomplishments. And I love the fact that we can marvel at other greats and how they handled. Now, first of all, it's a shame that it's such a shame that a big part of my life in sports, it always gets back to racism, man. I'm just at this, in the sport I play. I try to get away from it in my life. Period. And why, Roger? Why? I don't want to go down that road.
Listen, and this is great because, there's been so many. You could go to Arthur Ashe having to deal through and stepped in with civil rights. And you can go through the great Jim Brown and so many others that paved the way for even us today.
The only thing that triggered me was racism. Anything else, the competitive desire or competitive will that my opponent had against me, all of that, his persona that he was better than me, all of those things, those didn't trigger me. But once racism was brought into the equation, I didn't have the power of humility like Terry and Roger to channel that energy into I'll show you. I addressed it more externally instead of as an internal drive. I externally addressed it, and therefore it took me out of, my ability to perform.
Can I say something to you? I was a witness to this. It didn't take it out of you. It driven you, but people didn't like you because of that. They didn't understand that part of you. But you succeeded and you kept on going. It pushed you, it drove you. It came out externally out of your mouth, and it came out right here too. Okay, so McEnroe is another guy. He was pissed off, but his energy level rose. Jordan, pissed off, his energy level rose. So I think all that, when you say racism, anything can channel something in us that's gonna make us be the best that we can be. And it's unfortunate, that part hurts. Racism hurts, but it's not gonna fuel me. We fuel in a different way because how you've been raised. And our parents did prepare us, did show us, we did see it. But it's another thing in seeing it, it's another thing that hurts when you feel it. Like when I was in Cleveland, Ohio. I went, wow. Okay, how am I gonna handle this? I'll beat him and then beat him up on the outside of the gate.
Right.
But I'll win the match. But I'll wait for him outside the gate. Now I gotta figure out a way how to start this fight.
Right.
Because he
But
already
see, that's
called me a
beautiful.
nigga.
You guys had that process of let me beat him on the court first, right?
No, you beat him on the court. You beat him on the court.
Yeah.
I watch you.
Yeah.
I watch you. I watched us when we were on the satellite in Hawaii. Guys wanted to fight you because you beat them.
Yeah.
You beat them.
Got that dog in him.
But you know what you told me when we were out there? Look at me. You said they're afraid of you. You said they're afraid of you. You need to play. Look at you. They are scared.
I believe in the boxing. If I'd had a crew with me, and I talked to Rick and them. And
You had a crew. I was with you.
Yeah, you with me. If I had 10 more like you, I'd
When you got Jesus and me, we
I hear you, T. I mean, that's right. You're right. But I believe in now. And, Slinger has his own country. But even there's some betrayal there, but he has his own country. His son asked me earlier, what tournament did I think he, liked the best? I said Miami because his countrymen were able to come, and there was always, it was a beautiful thing that I was able to give out tickets to Colin, and he's got these fan base, he's got
2.2, shout out.
Black pride, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I just fell in love with the Bahamas. How about that? And I love you, Bahamas, because, you're a beautiful people, and you have your own, and there's tremendous pride in that.
Look, I agree with Terry Troy. I was on the other end of you one time. We played in the satellite. You remember that? In the Texas satellite?
Against each other?
Yeah.
See how, look at that. Look at that, people. Look at that. And they knew that there would be no way that I could there's no way in my heart that I could raise my sword against my brothers. I had this inner thing like, if anybody's gonna beat me, I'm gonna let the brothers beat me. If they could get a win over me and propel their career, I'm okay with that. And that was my heart. And there was no way out of that day I was going to go out there and rage war against my brother in the first round of a $50,000 satellite. That them when they put them chips down and all them, they say, we're going to have Roger and Troy play against each other in the first round.
Troy, iron sharpens iron.
They know we were staying with each other, everybody knew the alliance that we had made, the bond. And there's no way that they're going to put him at one end of the draw and me at the other end of the draw and have two, because there's no way in the room that he is not going to pray for me, and I'm going to pray for him, that God is giving us the almighty strength to beat down all of these other guys and pray that we're in the finals against one another to make our families proud of each other, and that discrimination.
Look, Troy, let me say this.
I'm sorry.
Let me say this.
So they put us against each other in the first round. And no way. And I know, look, there was only one person, two people that I felt that was better than me because of their athleticism. And as athletes, now a whole bunch of y'all know Jordan better than you. When you step on that court, he's quicker, he's stronger, he's faster, and he can match anything you bring to the table. Now, I didn't have that fear against any white boy I ever played, ever. When I came across Roger Smith and Terry Davis, I was like, oh, man, my God. I said, what the hell is going on here? I said, man, I can't beat this mother. Because he's a better, and when you talk about blacks, in our own thing, some athletes are better than one another. Now, that don't mean you're going to beat me, but it means I got to find some extra stuff. But when I know you physically can outclass me on the court or my equal, then that's just a whole different situation. That was the whole thing about us competing. They always made us play against one another. And don't say that, because remember, it wasn't until Arthur Ashe, remember, they didn't let us play. we had the American Tennis Association. Yep. And the only way that we could play white tournaments was you had to win to get into the U.S. Open, and Arthur Ashe won that, the American Tennis Association, and they allowed him to compete in the U.S. Open. That was not that long ago. And 50 years from now, when history is recorded, where's the Afro-American? Where's the black man? Why is he not represented on the Association of Tennis Professionals?
Troy.
What?
We played each other. I remember playing.
Now, I kick his ass in backgammon. I kick his ass in basketball.
Don't listen to that.
No.
Don't listen to that.
We played. It was like 5-5. I couldn't. I was so. My man had just got married, had a beautiful wife. Had a beautiful, look how they set you up psychologically. Look how they set you up. Look how they set you up psychologically.
And he breaks in the match. You remember that match?
5-5. 2 breaks. That's it.
Our match?
Yeah. Anything significant?
No, wait, hold on.
I don't even know.
Arrow. Let me explain this.
I beat him at the black tournament. I got at the American Tennis Association
doubles. He got revenge in doubles.
It was 1-on-1 because we both had handicaps. He had Ronnie and I had Frankie. And the women was out there on that hill.
George the character.
Looking at me and Slinger.
And listen. You're gonna really turn that on. You're gonna really turn that doubles match into singles?
I ain't never beat Terry. Terry owned me in front of all them beautiful black crowd. He's the favorite.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe for more episodes at A Lot of Racket on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And also my website, coachslinger.com, where we offer exclusive content, courses, one-on-one sessions, and information on how to join our tennis community.
You know what? I thank God for the days. I watch you play in the forum for team tennis. You had your dredge. You represented a tennis player.
No, he represented our people beautifully.
Well, watch this. You represented a tennis player that no one ever seen before. You didn't know that, did you?
Why he
didn't know?
Because you had your own. You represented who you were, and you showed everybody who was. You showed by your persona. You showed by your mohawk. You showed by your beads in the back, your dread. It was a whole look that was, dang, I wish I could roll like that. Damn, God. Well, you know, it's just, but I looked at you, man. I said, this dude got the biggest serve.
No.
Wait. I said, damn, he got a nice serve, but he got everything to back it up. I want that part of life.
Yeah.
I want to understand. I want to know what that's like. I want something a part of that. You know, even when I came back out of Chapman, and now I'm in the NCAA championships, I'm playing a guy from South Africa. And I hit this shot, and he said, Kafa.
You know what that means?
Oh, not at the time. I said, thank you.
See that?
And everybody in the stands were laughing like, ooh. So he looked at me like, and I destroyed him. His name, oh, it's just, I can't remember.
Just go.
So,
yeah.
I won the match. She went to shake his hand, very leery. But after the match, did you know what he called you? I thought he said good shot. He's from South Africa. He called you in his way, and I said, huh? I met up with him in the elevator. I pushed stop, and I said, what did you call me? I'm sorry, it just came out. This is just what I thought I was going to hit him. It's just kind of like, my satisfaction came from winning. You can't hurt me. You can't do anything. I won that match. Second time this happened, Troy and I playing Brett Buffington and John Lucidos.
Oh my God.
Illinois.
I had them in Hawaii. They won't beat up Troy after the match.
Can you believe that?
That's the one time Troy didn't cheat. I'm just saying. No, just no. Everybody accused him of it, but it was kind of like he was black. He's a great player, and he's cheat and he's mean. That's what the thing was. But you got to put the mean. You got to say cheat because he beat you.
Right.
And so we're there, and John Lucido's in the elevator. Called me a cheater, want to beat me up. I push stop button.
Again.
This is the second time. You didn't know that. Nothing happened.
Strength.
Nothing happened. No, he didn't.
Discipline.
They don't want to call up on it, you know, when I said that. Because now it's my opportunity. We dealing with them. Nobody can see us.
Right.
I'm not going to get in trouble. And so that's fine. But I'm playing the NCAAs. I'm in the semifinals NCAAs. I play a guy. I beat this guy first. His name is Bryant Memabazic. Man, my balls itch. Hey, from UC Davis. UC Davis.
The Lexington, the bluegrass satellite.
Yeah.
What's his name? Levine.
Jesse Levine?
No,
not Jesse Levine. No.
I beat Ralph Wiedemeyer in the team championship.
And the beautiful thing about football is we didn't have the ability to address racism physically. In football, you could have went a mano a mano. Okay? And that's the beauty of football and baseball and basketball, how these sports have evolved to this place where humanity can get together for a common goal. Because, you know, in the locker room, that racism is dealt with. Football, basketball, and all, right? Mano a mano. But in tennis, we had to show restraint.
You know why?
Physical discipline.
Do you know why?
Any of them names that you brought up.
Victor, do you know why?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You know, don't be sorry. You
But
know,
I
you know why?
restraint.
There wasn't enough of us. There wasn't enough of us. There was not enough of us to support each other the way we were very small in numbers. But I dealt with racism without anybody else. You dealt with it on your level. You dealt with it on your level. You dealt with it on your level from a young age.
Yeah.
But you know what? When the cream rises as an athlete, as who you are and believing in what your ability is and who you just step on a court, you're getting ready to complete. You're a gladiator. You were this man.
But we didn't
I never found out I was that man until I got to Hawaii.
You don't have the ability to lay hands on the next person.
No.
We don't have to.
Look at this beast. And you know why these guys, I have alpha respect, because I know if it came down to that business, to that real business, they got it. But to show that self-discipline in a sport where the adversary of racism knows that they have an advantage because you can't address it as an alpha male, hands on hands, or in the locker room. So it's not a level playing field.
We've been taught to address it by winning.
Well, yeah, T, I get it.
That's the bottom line.
Here's the thing that I really, and I preach this all the time to any kids that I come across too. You know, I connected with my purpose. My primary purpose, I didn't know how I was going to do it at the time, was to merely show people in my settlement that you can strive to be more than just trying to be a busboy or a waiter. It was just, even if you fail, if you call it failing, that you can strive for higher heights. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just strive for, there's something greater than just serving as a way.
Ask you a question about the military. I always think,
Hey, 1 second. Just say it in the mic. Say it in the mic.
I was always curious about the military because our families were always, my dad, all of my uncles, part of the military. But it was a back end to get into education. But it wasn't preached that way. It was preached, as you say, oh, you're going to get killed, he's going to get killed, you know. But, you know, you're military, you're going to be first one on the line, all this stuff. But now I understand that those guys, my father, my uncles, they were so structured. They got their first house through the GI Bill. And then that created generational wealth. It may not have been the kind of wealth people thought, but it was structured wealth, and it was there. And they had their craft, whatever they learned.
Their skill.
It was amazing, and I thought about that. But it was always in the black community, the last resort. School,
Instead of the first.
School was number one.
I just think included that. I think in the beginning, though, rightfully so, it might have been, hey, this is a means of just getting blacks to get out.
But Slinger, you from the Bahamas, so it's different.
But you guys also got to understand, y'all young, y'all brothers. I'm 66. I got some years on y'all fellas, you know. So you understand that, right?
Listen, I preach this.
Yeah.
I preach this to all my students and all my players. Connect to your purpose. You understand what I mean? Something you completely control. That's something that's going to carry you through thick and thin. Because
Say
it's
that
coming.
again?
Connect to your primary purpose.
What you mean by that?
It's something that's deep in that keeps you going. It's something that you have complete
Your
control
passion.
of. Your passion.
Is it okay to pursue?
But it's not result oriented. It's
What
not
does that mean?
meaning it's not connected to something that you don't have complete control of. Because what happens is if you fall short of something that you don't have complete control of, you look at yourself as a what?
Failure.
Thank you. And that's why you cannot connect your purpose to something you don't have complete control of. You cannot connect your purpose to, I want to win 10. I want to play tennis because I want to win 10 Grand Slams. You don't have complete control of that.
In whose eye did you come up short? Theirs or yours?
Yours.
So,
And that's the word.
so if we came up short of our purpose, but they didn't tell us that come up short was the start of something, you're in the learning process. It's not about coming up short. To me, in the spiritual way how I was taught, it's learning different paths, different mountains and
let's
hills
look at it
to
this
climb.
way. Let's look at it this way, Terry.
Can I ask you a question?
Let's look at it this way, Terry. Okay, you have a passion for something.
Yeah.
You connect it to something very
Yes.
deep. Let's say a family, your mom, your family. Let's say something that, like you said, you wanted to show the world that despite this ailment or whatever, I can still push this as far as I can. You wanted to see how far you could push it. That's something you have complete control of.
Yeah.
Had you said, I'm going to push this to win Wimbledon, and you never won Wimbledon, how would you have felt?
That's me.
How would you have felt?
That's me. But I didn't have you. You know, my faith told me that if I believe, I will achieve. And there wasn't nobody in the world told me I wasn't going to be the number one player in the world. And when I didn't achieve that goal,
How did you feel?
I was a failure.
Thank you.
Until I met my daughter,
Thank you.
who gave me new purpose in life as a daddy.
Absolutely, and that's exactly.
And once I had that that's heavy.
What he's talking about.
Okay? Because
answer that question?
what? Which one?
Okay. All right. I was taught that it was a setup.
What you mean by that?
Explain that.
As far as failure, because I was always taught that from a Bible perspective, from a life perspective, that I was taught, we are set up to fail, and you're going to continue to fail. Around every corner, there's something that's going to make you fail, but on the other side, there's something else. So don't stop there. Don't stop there. Keep going here. Purpose? How far does the purpose take us? Does it stop when we fail?
No.
Well, there we go.
There is no failure.
But there we go.
There is no failure with primary.
No, there's not.
Exactly.
No, I'm on the same page with you.
That's primary purpose.
Yes.
Now, understand there's primary and secondary purpose.
Secondary is going to always be there because that's the part of your life that you're fighting with you.
No. Secondary.
Explain the secondary purpose.
Secondary purpose is something that is going to motivate you. We all wanted to be number one in the world. We all wanted to be number one players in the world. We all wanted to make millions of dollars, I hope. We all want to do something. That is a driving force. That's real.
Right.
Do you have complete control of all of that?
No.
All you have complete control of is your effort.
Nobody told us that.
Your effort to achieve that.
Who told
And
you
if
that?
and listen.
When did you learn
You
that,
can
Roger?
never, of course we all had to learn this. But
When were you given that
I
information?
learned this
After the
at
fucking
6
fact.
years old.
Oh, give me something.
I learned it early
And I
too.
learned it at 6 years
I
old.
learned it from a
I learned it at
biblical
6 years
stance, though.
old because, listen, I learned it at 6 years old because I despised of only the white men can be the bosses at this resort. They would come into our village, our settlement. Word would get out that the boss and his crew's coming to dinner. Do you know that?
Would that be
Listen
conditionary?
to this. Do you know that every restaurant and every bar in the community would cook their best food, put out their best tableware? As kids, everybody, we had to wear our Sunday best.
Not for Jesus, for the white man.
For the boss, the big boss, they call it. For the big boss.
Not for Jesus.
Listen, for the big boss. And if there was like,
The white Jesus.
listen to this, Troy. If
white
there was
man.
like 30 restaurants,
I'm sorry.
if there was 30 restaurants and 30 bars, they could only go to like 3 of them, right? They would visit maybe 3, just to show support. And if you saw the looks and the disappointment of all the rest of those owners of restaurants, because they never came to their restaurant and they cooked all this stuff, brought out all this nice silverware, tableware, cooked the best meal, they would just sit there and wait. And to see their disappointment, that's what got me. And I despise of that at a young age. I'm like, hell no. This is... Because I saw it and I lived it. I'm like, no, I'm not going through this. I will never ever set myself up for discipline. And you know what? They didn't have control, right, of the white man coming there. So their purpose of even cooking this meal was gone. That's not the primary purpose. You didn't have control of that. I didn't understand it at the time. I learned it. It's like when you coach tennis. What do you tell your pupils? And you guys coach a lot of students. What do you teach them? Hey man, the only thing you can grade is your what? Your
Effort and attitude.
Your effort.
Those
Because,
are the only two
and
things
guess
you have
what?
control over.
Because you have complete control of that. Not winning and losing. You can play your best tennis.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
tennis is a sport where you play your best tennis and you
I
can
don't think
lose.
our effort
It's the one of the it's the
ever
few
was.
sport where you can win more points and lose. You can win more games and lose a match. Are you a failure? Actually, you freaking did pretty damn good. You won more games, you won more points, but you lost the match. So your primary purpose cannot be linked to results, something you can't control. Because you're setting yourself up for failure if it doesn't happen. But if you link it to your effort, and again, your attitude, how you want to be seen as a competitor, You will never fail. You will never fail. Ever. And let's go a step further. How much comfort are you gonna go into competition with? Looking to win? Or just focusing on your effort? What gives you more peace?
Can I ask you a question?
What gives you more peace?
Yeah, but thank you for
I'm all with you.
thank you for enlightening me on that part of your life, because I never knew that. I never had an opportunity to experience that. So I'm open to what you're saying, and you okay, Troy?
Hey, clown!
I didn't know a compliment made for good laughter, but it's okay.
We changed
It's
over
good.
the year. Well, we ain't changed none.
So
Many women that come.
So I so appreciate that, because that's coming from a different perspective.
Yes.
That's heavy.
My perspective on how I was raised, they never closed an eye to racism. They never closed an eye to what was going on TV. They opened it up and let us see all that stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
They never showed us that part of life. So
Right.
I can either grow up bitter,
Right.
I can grow up hating, I can grow up not having a purpose. That's their purpose. I have my purpose. So there's all these quotes. Keep your eyes on the prize. In church, his eyes is on the sparrow. Those little things that's my focus right there. There's nothing else that can distract me. I'm not going to let it distract me. I'm not going to let it get in my way. I refuse to. But I have this heart, and I feel, and I worry, and I go through these emotions. So God gave us those things now. Now we have to put them in order to deal with it. Now we have to put them in order. Now I got them in order. I understand this is part of my feelings. Let me go.
Let's go a step further.
Yes.
As you're talking even religion. What did God also say? Be in this world, not of this world. That means you cannot let anything in this world dictate who you are, what gives you comfort, what gives you peace, what keeps you loving God, or keeps you at your place to compete and drive to be whoever you want to be. You cannot let the prize, because who put the prize there?
I put the prize in.
You didn't put the prize
I
there.
didn't put the prize in.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't put it in.
Exactly. But so why you all caught up on that prize?
That's why I say these brothers are heavier than me, man. Because all that's over my head.
But who put the okay?
Can I say
let's
this?
Go to tennis.
Wait, can I say
Yes,
this?
sir. Go ahead.
The reason I'm doing this podcast is because tennis, unlike basketball, football, baseball, has afforded me a life to be amongst the wealthy and live in a very private sector of the community that I don't have to expose myself. You know, tennis has I lived with the president for, when we played, they took the top 16 players in the country, Midland, Texas. I lived with President Bush for 2 weeks. So, tennis affords you this lifestyle in the private sector of the community. And I understood early on in life when I played my first tournament in Calabasas that I wanted to retire to the private sector of America versus the public sector. That you can live in an enclave, a wealthy enclave, quietly, and nobody never know who you are, and to immense financial wealth. So the reason I'm doing this podcast is because I'm successful. I've reached a certain status in my life, and through the private sector, of almost total anonymity, and only the exclusive people in the tennis community know who I am. And that's a luxury that I've had. And my wife has always told me exposure breeds intelligence. So I function in not rich and wealthy. And I provide this, I'm around that wealthy energy and the wealthiest people in the world. And so as providing a service to them, I have a daughter that graduated from Tuskegee, a daughter that has a PhD from Yale, a daughter that graduated from USC, and we don't have no financial debt. This tennis thing has afforded me a lifestyle in the suburbs of Southern California in a community a town that only has 150,000 citizens. And I feel for me, the only reason I can open myself up at this stage is because of the tangible things. You can't hurt me because of what I say, because my children are grown, they're successful. Education is one of the pathways to economic freedom, just like the military, and the spirit of entrepreneurship, because my youngest daughter has the spirit of entrepreneurship. She works for herself instead of bartering her time out for an hourly wage. And so I have the freedom now in my life at 63, 62, to be able to express myself and have this freedom in this capitalistic society where what I say, it don't matter, because you're not going to be able to come back. And what I say is going to affect, me and my wife and my children, because I'm comfortable being a part of the private sector of the American community.
Well, let's go to a conversation we had earlier, Troy. You told me you were a little stuck with, and this is great, you were stuck with giving the kids in your program, the less fortunate kids, this dream and this hope that requires finance. And the struggle of getting that finance for them, you're feeling kind of like you're leading them for failure, per se.
Well, that's a burden we have, when you're a leader and God has given you an assignment to take care of a village. Because my daddy told me, he said, "Oh, man, what's a man?" I said, "You gotta be able to take care of your own family, Daddy." He said, "True, true, true." He said, "But there's another kind of man out there." He said, "That man is to be able to take care of his own family and be able to take care of another family too, where dad is absent."
So I also mentioned to you that this burden.
Did you hear the old man?
I heard the old man.
So you two, as my best friends, know. So when you taught that from a man, you feel me? So that standard of manhood is at a totally, because we all come from big families. And if you're the one, your family, you've been able to lift them out of poverty, and you leave your sister's kids who ain't got no daddy, if you leave them there and you marvel in your own and your sister's kids or your brother's kids, and you don't empower them, for me, because I had a daddy that took care of not only his children, but other folks' children, Not when I say outside the family, but, I have 4 sisters that were widowers. I had 4, what does that mean? I have 4 brothers that were murdered. Literally murdered. So, I was the youngest, so my mommy confided in me, right? Mm-hmm. And Slinger, when we go on the tour, when I was his coach, he would give me his cell phone, all his money, and he has a very functional family, who I'm extremely proud to be a part of. But he had this obligation as the patriarch of his family. Remember, his daddy died when, how old were you?
11 months.
So he would give me all this money. He would block out all the calls at the hotel. And the only calls I would take were those phone calls where there was bills had to be paid in his village, right? Chieftain of his village. So you have your queen and your entire family. Not just your children and your queen, but your entire village. And he never spent a dime on himself.
I was getting everything free.
Stop. I don't recall.
Yeah, my rackets, my strings, my clothes.
You understand that? And when I retired, watch how powerful this is. Watch how powerful this is. He hired me. Well, what does that mean? Well, I used the money that he paid me to take care of my family.
Your travel was paid.
You're missing the point, people of the world. So, to these younger generations, I'm connected. The hip-hop generation, I'm connected. When one rapper makes it, and he's feeding everybody else until they make it, I can't tell you how powerful I can connect to that. Like, here's a man, he said, Troy, I only got $300 to pay you a week. I said, let's go. And at 1,200, 3, 6, 9, 12, what God do, he turned 15 cents into $1. So here's a man who I'm indebted to for life, because not only did he feed his family, you hear the old owl, but he fed my family too. He never turned down an autograph. He would always tell me, you know what, Troy, it's a lot of poor black, because I used to try to run them off when they get around the courts to watch them, because I think these ain't going to steal, they going to get in our back. He would say, leave them kids alone. Leave them kids alone. Shout out to Florian and all the guys that play doubles with him, Andrew Castle, all you brothers that rose above social pressures that you had on there in those days to play with a black man whose coach wore Free Mandela. The Christ was, Jesus was a black man. He allowed me to wear T-shirts like that.
I paid the price, though.
We both did. We both did.
No, but listen, that's great.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to go now.
No,
and
listen.
you know what's horrible about this, Terry? You know what's horrible? In my life, what's horrible is it goes back to this era where, it's like, I don't want to talk about racism. I don't want to talk about that. All my life, I'm trying to evolve beyond that. You know what I mean? And be on this level where, and that's why I don't go backwards, because that's why I didn't let my daughters play tennis, and they're mad at me to this day. Great athletes, all of them. But I didn't want them to suffer the hardship that I had to endure. I mean,
Can I say something there? Let me tell you something about that. Everybody in our lives have paid the way and made it that much better for everybody else. So it never stops, and it never should stop. Right. Never should stop. When you say racism, we can speak on our experiences and how we've grown from those experiences, how they made us better people and better men, but we're not angry. And we don't envy anybody that we dealt with. We just prayed for them and we kept on going. But as I was saying, everything in life was taught to me through the word of what to watch out for, to how to prepare myself to deal with my day. But it was always taught to me, you're going to have that spiritual warfare. You're going to get tugged one way and pulled the other. But remember what you've been taught. Remember the word. Remember, and the word governs our life because it's the word, and it's strong. It's stronger than a two-edged sword. And people can say, oh, religion and all that stuff. But there's a way to govern your life. There's a way to live. But that's what was taught to us. That's what we have, and we still have it now. And that's why we're able to be right here and speak on all this.
Absolutely.
You know, Errol, your generation, profits from all the pain and all the folks have been through. But your generation has come around. A lot of people don't think, I'm going to give it props to it. I really am. Because there's a lot of folks that stood up for brothers. When I used to work at Tustin Hills, I worked on Martin Luther King's birthday. I had a cat goes, free at last, free at last. Why are you working today? My first initial thing was ready to roll up on side of his head. And I said, I'm working because I have the opportunity to work. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been here, and you wouldn't have been speaking the words that he spoke. So it was something, because the Jewish clients came to me and says, we both had our struggles and persecution. I said, wait. Y'all got more money than us. Persecution. And it's something to open a door. But you get tidbits on how to deal with people on a daily basis. Black, white, pink, whatever. They're all the same. We all have pain. We all have it.
Amen. And listen, we've come here today, man, and our goal is just express our experience and hope to touch someone somewhere, like I said, that's going through something. And hopefully our story can touch someone to give them hope. It's not going to solve their problem, but at least give them hope or some direction that they can go on. And I preach that to my kids all the time, and I hope they continue to live their life on that. We got my eldest son here, Easy. Now, I've coached Easy. He's a tennis pro, and he's now the volunteer assistant at UCLA. He just came out from the NCAAs, where he was a big part of assisting the other coaches and the UCLA athletic team, and just coached the #1 player to win the NCAA championship. So I want to give a big shout out to them. Okay, big
Shout out to Frank Grantine, you already know.
Yes, so, there you go. Good job.
Errol, we and I am especially so proud of you because what we see is actually, because you've lived this all your life.
I don't want to share that with the world.
Hold on. It's learning. It's actually
you understand that?
Listen to me. It's something for us to know that what we did is not in vain. When we see our kids,
I'm so proud
went
of
to your son's graduation.
I'm so proud of their.
And listen to his story.
And
your daughter. Sorry, Troy, not to. Yeah. And now to see my son accomplish this,
Yeah.
And this is only the beginning of some great things.
Yeah,
and,
that's family.
And it just makes us proud that all work and efforts is not, because it takes a village. You, Troy, Terry, to help me with my sons and everything. Errol, man, I call it a blessing. You have uncles, 'cause I call Uncle Terry and Uncle Troy uncles, and your godfathers, and hopefully with what I've instilled in you, that, and you're getting some success now, man. Can you elaborate a little bit on your recent? First of all, elaborate on what you've learned to build you in who you are, and also with your recent success.
Well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, you guys have so much to do with my recent success. I mean, thank you again for Stella Sampras and Rance Brown for allowing me to be in the position to be able to shine.
Shout out Rance and Stella.
Rance and Stella and the whole UCLA community. They've been so supportive, and being able to just have faith in me and trust in me. And again, this is information that you guys all instilled in me. I mean, this is going back to me going to Hyde Park with Troy, and us going to Fox Hills, and you taking me and hitting serves, and we hitting forehands, and then you already know this goes back to all the work that we put in. But being able to put it all together is such a blessing. I mean, you guys were the grassroots for everything for me to lead, and just being able to learn about this grassroots and live through it. It allows me to be who I am today. Grow and shine for success.
Let me ask you a question, and I've really been wanting to ask you this with the right time. There's been few black coaches at Division I level that have been very successful. You've had your Rance Brown. They've produced NCAA champions and won team championships. You've had your Rodney Harmon at Georgia Tech. You've had your Brian Shelton at Florida, who's produced team championships as well as individual championships. You are one of the few to date in the history that have helped and assist in a Division I NCAA singles champion. Did that resonate to you, what you were doing at the time? Were you just so caught up in a mission? What was going on during the whole championships?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it still hasn't really even hit me yet as far as, winning the championship, being only a few handful of black coaches to help and assist win a championship. But just in the process, just one day at a time, obviously, enforcing the teachings and the learnings that I've learned from you guys, and the energy that you guys have brought to help and push my players, or even just push myself, it's been such a blessing. But when you're in it, you're not really focusing on it. You're just as you guys can probably attest, when you guys have players in tournaments or even practice, you don't really focus on the outcome, the result. You just focus on the process and what we're doing each and every day. And it's tough to see the result and end process when you're in it. But just knowing that, pushing yourself and not just pushing your player to the limit, pushing yourself to the limit. Going over extra film, bringing that extra energy. Being able to go out your comfort zone and to push your player through, and not just your player, but me as a coach is growing through it. It's all new to me. It's all new to me.
So your player, there's even history in the making here, right? She's one of the few freshmen. She was a freshman to win it. She's the first Chinese to ever win the NCAA. Like that's just amazing, man. I'm so proud of you, man. Thank you. Talk to me about the communication, man. She's Chinese. She's a freshman. Did you learn Chinese, man, to talk to her?
Wait a minute.
Oh, what?
What, Slinger? You gotta understand that generation. They can talk to each other. They speak the same language. It may not sound the same, but they know what they're doing. Yeah, like us, right?
It's so crazy, man. I've only known this. I've only known Tien, Frank Grant Tien for only like 2.5, 3 months now. I got a call from Coach Stella, and in the middle of the season, and kind of did a 360, and was able to get a win against Ohio State, going as us in our first couple matches, and then started to build momentum. So just kind of learning and observing who the player was, what type of things trigger her, what things help her, with not just her but the team. I mean, I was on 1 through 3 with Coach Stella, and just being able to learn the personalities. We did some brain typing. Thanks to you, Coach Slinger.
What's the brain typing?
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get that. That's the secret.
Wait. You've been holding out. You have been holding out. You gave it to that generation and didn't give it to your brothers here, huh?
That's the secret sauce, man. So just little things like that. It helped me learn about the players, and able to communicate with them. And she didn't know any English coming to college. So just her being from Beijing and coming to UCLA, she had it's a very strong Asian community, which helps a lot. But just having your sisters on the team help her communicate. So it just helped me communicate by helping the team, along with the team.
And the year before that, you had a great player, a black African American.
Yeah.
She did marvelous things.
Oh my
as well.
goodness!
She went undefeated, didn't she?
Abigail Forbes.
Thank you.
It's crazy because, particularly because of COVID, the whole transfer portal has just grown. When I was back in college, back in 2014 to 2018 at LMU, if you were in the transfer portal, it kind of wasn't a good thing to be in the transfer portal. It's either because students either failed or something, or just didn't like the program, or it was kind of more of like a it wasn't a positive thing to be in the transfer portal. But now, especially with a lot of players having a 5th year because of COVID, the transfer portal has been amazing. It's been more than anything. I mean, we had a couple women that transferred out the transfer portal and had done great success. Shout out to Taylor Johnson at SMU getting to the postseason, and Abigail Forbes obviously winning the championship. So it's a lot of great positive things back in the transfer portal now. Go back to San Diego State men's basketball, getting to the final. I think they had like 5 or 6, 7 transfers that came through there. So, it's just showing how much it's growing, and it's only going to get bigger.
Right. Well, we just want you to know how proud we are of you, Errol, man. And again, it's a testimony, and it's just confirmation of us and what we've done for the next generation, our kids, and that's what our purpose is, right? Yeah. Our purpose is to multiply our blessings through our stories and our experiences, and that's what this podcast is all about, And while we see it here, we don't know who we're hitting on our viewers. We're hopefully, our goal is to hit someone somewhere can relate to our stories, and I know they are, and give them hope, because that's what this is all about. Giving you hope.
Let me say something about Errol. I talked about an elephant in the room, and I've asked the question 3 times to him in 3 different time periods. Never got the answer. I got the reason. And the answer was, the question was, do you still want to play? Is it in your heart? Are you settled? And I got the same answer 3 different times. I injured my knee. I'm coming back off an injury. And I says, I'm going to stop you there because it's the 3rd time that I asked the question. And I got real with him. I got real because I'm his uncle and I love him. I want to tap in a part of his life that I know has been tapped in with me. Are you done? I asked the question. And he says, no, I'm not done. And the next question was, are you still practicing? Oh, yeah, I'm still doing that. So you're not done. You never know what part of your life, but it's that other part of that heart that goes, what if? Wow.
Possibility of.
Or do you get it out of your system so you don't have the what if? Do you understand? Have you tapped into something that you're sure of? And life is amazing because what life does, it throws out roses, it throws out opportunity, it throws out all these different things, and then it tells you to choose. It tells you to choose. And so, do I follow my heart? Do I follow what I think financially I'm going to be better at or make a living at? And it's always that fine line. But you answered my question. You said you're still practicing. So I know that seeing your age, opportunity is there. You never know. You never know because life gives you the opportunity.
You do know.
You know?
And this is a shout out to everybody in the world that, you know, no matter what you believe you can achieve, the mind is a powerful thing. And you can't let someone else set an age limit, a time limit, a timeline, or a measure for your success in life. And it is my belief that success is determined by your own definition of what it is. I'm successful in life not because I reached 410 on the ATP. I mean, for me, that's a failure. But I'm successful because I have family, I have loved ones, I have friends, I have my faith. I'm rich beyond measure. You cannot put a dollar sign to the wealth that I have accumulated on this earth.
That means you're not a failure.
Yeah.
That means you got
Yeah.
led in another direction.
Yeah, I get that,
God settled you in
but you
another
struggle.
direction.
But as a man in the flesh, I struggle with my imperfections.
There you go. That's what I told you about the spiritual warfare.
But
There it is right
but
there.
in my
Something right up in a nutshell.
but in my hope and in my power that I have, my friends, my loved ones are all gonna attain success because I believe in intercessory prayer. And when I go to bed at night, I don't pray for me because my wife has already assured me that I will be buried. I'm gonna have a great celebration. So I don't pray for me. I pray for those people that I love and I hold dear in my heart. That they will have a measure of the success that I've attained with the relationship that I have with my Heavenly Creator.
Wow.
And I would not say that to anybody else if I didn't have the two most important people in my life outside my wife on each side of me.
I've always told you to not react to what's in front of your face, but to give it a little time and think about it and how you want to handle situations. Errol, you're the recipient of life. Your life is right here with you because we have experienced things and people before us. So you got all this locked into your computer, all this downloaded into you, all this injected into you. Enjoy yourself, man.
Yes, sir.
But the most part about it, you be happy with whatever you do and love what you're doing. But number one, give it to glory. Troy, I've been with you for a long time. Wait. Hey, Troy. I just said, hey, y'all don't understand him. Y'all misunderstood about him. No, he's a jerk. He's this, he's that, and this. I said, why you hang out with him? You're a kid, a nice guy. I don't want to be called a nice guy. I love him. I know that side of him that y'all don't know. I know that brother's heart. I don't care what he does. I know your heart. I don't care what you do, your heart. I know. So I'm able to look past everything everybody else see negative because I know what's positive. But what I'm going to do for my brothers, you know me, I'm crazy, but I'm always going to inject positive and reinforcement and love into everybody's life. I love doing that. That's a gift that God gave me, so I'm going to exercise that gift, and I'm going to keep on exploring it out. That's where I get my joy. That's where my joy comes from.
That's awesome.
What about you, homie? My man. You know, Denzel Washington said, my man. My man. You know,
Listen.
He let me be, and Terry let me be a black American man. They let me be.
Listen, man, you all know that I'm about life. That's what life is all about, being about life. It's not bringing stuff in life, creating stuff in life, just being about life. My brothers here, this is why this podcast is so important to me and the message we send to the world. Because as we get together, sometimes we might go to the bar and have a drink, or we may go to your favorite place over there and eat something where you have your gooey cakes and stuff, where you're always giving your free gooey cakes to
Shout
people.
out to the gooey cakes, though.
Shout
No
out
cap.
Hey, by the way, those gooey cakes are damn good.
Shout out to Carrie, my wife, with the gooey cake, baby. Yeah. Hey, but I know how to make them.
And we have these conversations amongst ourselves. And we don't do it enough, of course. We need to do it more. And we're all busy doing stuff, obviously, with travels and work and programs and stuff. But we need to do it more. But when we do get together, and the love that we share and the fun that we have, that's why I felt it was important for us to share this with the world. Because I know I leave there feeling good and strong as a man, as a human being. And if I can feel that, there's someone out there that's receiving this. I know it. I'm not asking, I know it. And even if there's one person that can leave there with hope and feeling strong about themselves and confident about themselves or having some kind of direction, we've done what we're supposed to do. We are multiplying our blessings. And that's what this podcast is all about. So I want to just thank each and every one of you for tuning in and listening to us. We just know that you are family now. I hope you continue, and I want you to continue to follow us. You know, just follow the Coach Slinger podcast. You know, we're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be posting on social media. Please share your thoughts. Just know that if you want to contact us, you can just email us at roger@coachslinger.com. And let's start there. Let's just start this journey together. I want to thank my hosts, my friends, my loved ones, Terrell, D, the Big Dog Davis.
Wait a minute. Who started calling me Big Dog? Where did that come from? Because when I was in Texas,
you really want
when I was in Texas, they were calling me Super Friend.
Hold on. Do you really want me to tell that story?
What's the story?
Do you want me to tell that story?
You got to say for the next one?
Well, I don't know about Big Dog.
You really want me to tell that story? I don't even want to tell that story.
I don't think anybody want to know about that story. I don't know about it.
Hey, you know about it. And victory.
I just need more therapy. I come to the conclusion I need more therapy.
Brother, you got all the love you want.
You know, I just need more therapy, man, because this ain't supposed to be about me and hurt and pain, you know, and I'm a mess.
Troy, you know anointing. What happens when you're anointed, right? Yes? You go to church, you know when people are anointed, what happens? What happens when you're anointed? And I'm so glad and blessed that you came here and got anointed today, as we can call it, because I'm telling you right now, man, you are hitting some people today, and that's what this is all about. Terry, am I wrong?
Hey, man, you're so right.
You are hitting millions. And I just want to thank you, man, for just being open and being true to this podcast.
They gonna say, is that really Troy? Shedding light on the situation.
Victory, Troy. TC.
I want my godson, who I'm extremely proud of, anybody out there that's pursuing tennis, that the cookie cutter mentality that you're too old, and this narrative that other cultures put out there. But I challenge you to seek the black community and the black athlete and look at his longevity. 20 years in the NBA. The great Emmitt Smith, 15 years in football. The great Roger Federer, 41.
Close to it, if not, yeah.
And people trying to tell him to retire. I just challenge you, all you beautiful people out there, regardless of what color you are, that, you know, no matter what age you are, don't let someone put a cap on your timeline.
Absolutely.
Because it's been proven, the blueprint is out there from the great black athletes of our time, that it don't matter how old you are. You know, the great Arthur Ashe didn't win Wimbledon until he was 33 and he beat Jimmy Connors, who was 22 years old. And he was the least of our athletes. The least. The least. Nothing compared to the great Jerry Rice. Can't even compare the two sports. So if you model yourself, if you're a black tennis player, white tennis player, it doesn't matter. If you model yourself beyond the concept of tennis and you embrace the ideology of being a great athlete who specializes in tennis, then a non-contact sport like tennis, you can win Grand Slams at 50 and 60 years old.
Amen. And again, my son, man, Errol, I'm so proud of you. We are so proud of you. We want you to, whatever you choose to do, and it's your choice. You know how I roll, and you're blessed. You're gonna succeed in whatever choice you decide, because you've got a foundation.
I had a chance to play Jim Brown at the height of my career in practice at the tennis center.
Hold on. Talk about the time you went up for football.
Yeah, don't talk about that.
Yeah,
Let's talk about somebody else.
I went up for the NFL. What happened when you went up for the NFL?
But looky here. Shout out to Carl Ernst, because he allowed us black mid-level tennis players to train at the tennis plate on 3rd and La Brea. I knew 27. I counted. 27 of us. It allowed us to hone our skills as up-and-coming black tennis pros. The great Carl Ernst. Shout out to Hillcrest Country Club, who has a picture of the great Carl Ernst. Thank you.
And there are so many people I have
who've been there, who have really been there for our cause. Stan Camp. I go on and on and on. And, you know, we were able to train there every day. And you have pasta. You have pasta salad for lunch every day. You know, the bald-headed guy who was he was the cook.
Chicken breast and the pasta with Parmesan cheese on it.
That's right.
Gold ball.
You know.
With Italian dressing.
With chicken.
Hey, we gonna resume that. All right?
Okay, so anyway, that's that. All I'm saying, I don't know what I was saying before that, but
Listen, bro, we gonna resume that. But listen, there's so many people we could give thanks to, man. You know, and
Yeah.
for me mainly, you know, I gotta put Bahamas. I gotta keep Bahamas going, and that's what it's all about. The Bahamas. I'm grateful for everything, and so many people that you're gonna hear about through these podcasts that you're gonna learn that was in my corner. But again, thank you for joining us at the Coach's Corner. Again, hey, we hope someone somewhere got something from this. And listen, while we keep it 100, and we do 100, okay, we're an all-inclusive podcast. Just remember that, okay? We promote equality to all humans, all right? Regardless of race, gender, nationality, sexual orientation, creed, religion, or color. Please, we welcome you. Join us. And again, you can reach us at roger@coachslinger.com. Thank you so much.
all comments are welcome.
W's in the chat.
Are we done?